house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swing. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring
a lot of this stuff that I've heard and seen already. I'm really trying to connect the dots here and think like, damn, what if Prince was what if he caught wind of some, I'll just say allegedly, stuff that Diddy might have been doing that seems to be, like, I ain't talking about consensual things, I'm talking about illegal things or whatever. But I'm just like, would Diddy be that dumb to like not think that Prince, this celebrity, has cameras in his house as well? So I'm just trying to think, like, because if Prince has cameras and he's recording stuff, you know, to get some dirt on Diddy, I don't know. I feel like Diddy, with all his cameras that he allegedly had, or no,
We all knew Diddy's trial was already chaotic, but now Prince's name entering the mix has everyone losing it. Rumors have always floated around, sure. Jason Lee once spilled that Diddy hosted some of his wildest, most over-the-top parties at Prince's mansion. But nobody saw this new twist coming. Here's where it takes a left turn. Prince wasn't just some eccentric legend in purple and heels. He was calculated, composed, and always one step ahead. Now whispers are spreading that he may have had hidden cameras capturing everything at those parties. And what's eerie, he was rarely seen actually attending. That has people wondering if he kept his distance on purpose, maybe to observe from the shadows and document everything. Some even believe he handed those tapes off before he passed. With talk of this evidence potentially making its way into court, things could take a sharp turn. And that's just the start. Even jury selection has people stunned. Names being tossed around include Michelle Williams, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, and Lauren London. It's shaping up to be one of the most bizarre and high-profile trials Hollywood's ever seen, and it's only getting started. Let's backtrack to the name that started it all. Cassie. She was the first to speak out, filing that bombshell lawsuit and laying it all bare. According to her, Diddy's team, including Bad Boy staff and business associates, weren't just bystanders. She claimed they actively worked to keep things under wraps. After one brutal incident, Cassie said assistants were sent to her with gifts as some warped apology, and worse, she said they coordinated the infamous freak-off nights. These weren't just rumors. This was written in legal documents. According to Cassie, they handled everything. Hotel bookings, supplies, even the ambiance, and the aftermath. She said Diddy's own security and assistants saw her so shaken, they broke down crying. That's the level of trauma we're talking about, and yes, those staffers are expected to testify. Harve Pierre's name has also surfaced, someone already tied to another lawsuit involving a Jane Doe and Diddy. This web is expanding fast and nobody's off limits, but it gets even more disturbing. One lawsuit pointed to Diddy's erratic behavior during MTV's Making the Band. Allegedly, he constantly belittled the female contestants with degrading remarks, and the abuse didn't stop when filming ended. Dawn Richards said she was pushed to rehearse endlessly without rest, and that Diddy allegedly took advantage of her during the time. She also claimed she saw him physically assault Cassie, and that he was high during the incident. Michael B. Jordan's name was dropped too, but not in a bad way. He was mentioned in the timeline during 2015, when he and Cassie were reportedly getting close. Now the prosecution is reportedly lining up her exes to testify, including Michael and Kid Cudi. Yeah, that's where it gets wild. Cassie said she had a brief relationship with Cudi in 2011 during a rough patch with Diddy. But when Diddy found emails between them, he allegedly lost it. The lawsuit claims he wanted Cudi's car blown up and ensured he was home when it happened. That's not petty, it's dangerous. And guess what? Cudi's car really did explode in his driveway. That's confirmed. If Diddy was behind that, it speaks volumes about the obsession and control Cassie says she endured. But through all of this, the one name people can't stop talking about is still Prince. The idea that he may have had video evidence, proof that could expose everything, is now taking center stage. And the timing of his death? That's raising new questions. Just before he passed, Prince posted a chilling photo with a message. Just when you thought you were safe, it was quickly deleted. At his final event at Paisley Park, shortly after a medical scare, he told attendees, "Wait a few days before wasting your prayers." That sounds like someone who knew something was coming. He died at age 57, found unresponsive at his estate in Minnesota. Officials called it an accidental overdose, fentanyl-laced pills. But with this new context, people aren't so sure anymore. If Prince really had something explosive on tape, it begs the question, did someone want him gone before it surfaced? But let's be honest, this was Prince, a man known for living clean, no drinking, no smoking, no reckless habits. So when the official story says his death was just an accident, a lot of people aren't buying it. Was it really a medical issue? Or was it something far more sinister? Because let's face it, if Prince had evidence that could bring down someone like Diddy, that's not just juicy gossip. That's a dangerous liability. And in Hollywood, people like that don't always get to walk away. Here's the real twist when it comes to Prince. His battle wasn't just about his art, it was for survival. And in the months leading up to his death, that fight got louder than ever. Prince had always been a rebel in the music industry. He refused to bow to the machine. He challenged the entire system, and what made the industry nervous was that he wanted control. Real control. He didn't just want royalties, he wanted ownership. His music, his masters, his brand. No middlemen, no corporations, just the artist and the art. Fans believe that this war for independence might have cost him everything. For years, there's been speculation that Warner Brothers, the label that signed him at just 18, had more to do with his death than anyone's admitting. There's no proof, of course, but the rumors never stop. People point to the tension-filled history between Prince and the label. He released his early albums under Warner from 1978 to 1981. They didn't blow up at first, but the label saw his brilliance and held on. Then in 1982, just a year after MTV launched, Prince broke into the top 10, and he changed the game. He turned music videos into a form of power, building a style, a persona, a legend. By 1984, with Purple Rain, he didn't just reach superstar status, he became a cultural icon. Fans mirrored his look, his moves, his energy. But while his fame exploded, things behind the scenes got ugly. Prince realized that Warner Brothers controlled everything. His music, his name, even how he was allowed to express himself. He was the face, but they owned the empire. He wanted out, and he fought tooth and nail to break free. But some think that fight got too real, and that standing up to that kind of power came with consequences. Let's not forget when Prince made one of the boldest statements ever in music, ditching his name entirely and replacing it with an unpronounceable symbol. It wasn't just a publicity stunt, it was his middle finger to the system. He was screaming that he wouldn't be owned anymore. Not his name, not his image, not his voice. He stood for independence, truth, and resistance. But here's where it gets ironic and dark. While Prince was trying to tear down the system, Diddy was shaking hands with it. Full-on partnership. He didn't just sign a deal, he entered a joint venture with Warner Music Group, the same corporation Prince had been calling out for years. That deal handed Warner 50% ownership of Bad Boy Records. So while Prince was fighting for freedom, Diddy was doing business with the very machine he tried to dismantle. Warner's deal with Bad Boy wasn't just a handshake, it was a full takeover. They grabbed control of all marketing, plus digital and physical distribution of Bad Boy's entire catalog around the globe. That meant everything from current artists to past hits was now flowing through Warner's system. Diddy, of course, loved it. It cemented his status, lined his pockets, and kept his influence alive in the game. He even said himself, "Other boutique labels come and go, but we're still here." He was proud of that alliance. But behind that glossy surface, things were murky. Whispers started circling that Prince knew way more than anyone realized. Allegedly, he wanted no part of Diddy or the chaos tied to those notorious freak-off parties. Jason Lee once mentioned that the wildest Hollywood party he ever attended was at Prince's mansion. But there was a strange catch. No one was allowed to bring their own security. Why such tight control? What exactly was being hidden? It's now looking like Prince allowed Diddy to throw those over-the-top, anything-goes events at his house. But the deeper question is, what was happening behind the scenes? Because this was Prince, a perfectionist, private, always in control. It's not far-fetched to think he may have had cameras rolling. The man was always 5 steps ahead. People are starting to ask, did he record everything? And if so, where are those tapes now? Did he keep them locked away or hand them off to someone he trusted before he passed? That's why Prince's name is starting to pop up in connection to Diddy's case. If those recordings exist, they could completely reshape the trial. And if Prince really knew too much, some wonder if that had anything to do with why he's no longer here. Here's where it gets eerie. Just before he died, Prince told his sister, Tyka Nelson, that he was in danger. Sure, the media used to claim they weren't that close, but Tyka set the record straight. In 2018, she revealed that they were inseparable growing up. Their parents even told Prince it was his job to protect her. Wherever he went, she followed. He even saved her life by helping her get into rehab when she was battling addiction. So when she says something wasn't right in those final days, why is no one paying attention? According to Tyka, Prince had been quietly preparing her for 2 years, training her to be ready for something. That doesn't sound like a man caught off guard. It sounds like someone who saw the storm coming and made a plan. She shared a powerful memory with the Minnesota Star-Tribune. Just 4 days before he passed, they had one last real conversation. Prince was distant, joking, changing the subject. She pressed him, asked how he was really doing, but he wouldn't open up. Instead, they laughed like nothing was wrong. That moment stayed with her. It says so much about how much Prince was caring and how little he was willing to share, even with the one person closest to him. So now the big questions hang heavy. What was he protecting? Was it connected to Diddy? Were tapes involved? And did he know his time was almost up? Whether or not Prince's name officially surfaces in court, one thing is clear. He knew more than anyone thought. And now we want to know what you think. Was Prince holding on to secrets that could take Diddy down? Did he leave behind evidence that could shake the case? Sound off in the comments. And if you're into these deep dives behind Hollywood's shadows, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves the real tea. Hit that bell icon so you're always first when it all spills. Catch you next time.